Hi, this guy. Welcome to today's episode of Vestibular Talks. Today's special guest is Hey. Hey is going to talk to us about the struggles of living with vestibular migraines, also living with oral allergy syndrome, and more. Enjoy the episode. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Find your happiness, guys. All right, Hey, welcome to this episode of Vestibular Talks. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, I'm doing really good. Thank you for taking the time to join us and basically tell us about your story, your journey. So thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me on here. It's a great opportunity.
Yes, it's great to raise awareness, and you never
Yes,
know. Like your own journey could maybe help a lot of other people that might be struggling as well. So thank you for that.
you're welcome, and hopefully I can help somebody.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, do you mind telling us a little bit about who you are and how your journey began?
So I'm Hayley or Hay. I have had this for coming up for 8 years,
Wow.
and it'll be 8 years in a few weeks' time. And I literally woke up like it, and I had a really busy life. Working full time, running a house, studying as well, seeing friends all the time. Then I just woke up one day and I felt really odd. And I couldn't pinpoint what it was. Got ready for work, drove to work. I live about 5 minutes away from work because my job, I needed to have the car. So drove to work, and I remember just sitting at the computer, kind of like holding my head, because I just felt vertigo really.
Mm-hmm.
And I waited for the team meeting to start, and I was like holding my head. Then I had my juice bottle, drink bottle there, just holding my head.
Yeah.
And it just got worse. And I googled. I was like, "What on earth is wrong?" Because I couldn't pinpoint. And Google had vertigo, and it was getting worse and worse. So work said, "Go home." So I was able somehow to drive home, getting 5 minutes down the road, 20 miles an hour, not hard. And then got to bed, just thought, I'll just sleep it off, it's fine. Phone my mum the next day. It took me half an hour to open my phone up and call her because I couldn't focus,
It's,
if that makes sense.
it completely makes sense. To someone else that never lived this before, they probably be like, how is that possible? But
Yes.
your story, like your case, is so similar to mine when you're telling it, it's like I'm reliving mine. Like similar to you, I woke up one day with this weird sensation, like something was quite off, like something
Yes.
wasn't quite right, but you couldn't pinpoint what it was. You're like I don't feel well, and then you feel this dizziness and this kind of like pressure inside the head,
Yes.
lightheadedness, and it's almost like you don't know how to, like, because for me, for example, hey, I still had my balance, like I could stand up in
Yes.
one leg, but I could feel I almost like I was falling, like I was dropping,
Yes.
but I wasn't. So it was the strangest sensation. So
Yes.
so I completely understand what you're saying. Please continue.
So just in case people don't understand, when you look out, when you're on a train and you're looking out the window, it's just like blurred. That's basically what I was experiencing then. I was trying to find the PIN code to put in, and find the phone app thing, and then call my mum. I said to mum, "Come get me." So this was about 4:30 when I called her in the morning, and about 4:45, bless her, my dad came and picked me up. And I don't remember everything, but I remember bringing my pillows, a few pyjamas and essentials, and my straighteners for my hair. That's like essential. Just And then my parents were and are amazing. They're so supportive. I stayed with them for about 3 months. My mum took annual leave that day, and because went to get the doctor out, see what was going on. My dad the next day had annual leave. My mum the following day had annual leave. So for 3 days they were annual leaving basically. And I wouldn't be here now without them. They are just
You know what? Hey, like you God bless them because family in that moment of when the episode or the chronic stage of these conditions happens, family is the biggest support. Like I had my wife, and
Yeah.
she, even though she couldn't understand what was happening to me, she was very supportive. But my parents and my siblings at the beginning, because they didn't understand it, they were like, those
Yes.
symptoms are so weird. They're like, that makes no sense. So
Yeah.
they started thinking, they're like, maybe it's all in your head, maybe you're exaggerating, maybe they are like, it makes no sense, or they are like, I'm sure you'll be okay in a couple of days.
Yes.
But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. And yes, if it wasn't for the support of my wife that believed me, that was there for me, I probably wouldn't be here either.
Yes.
So you're right. That family means a lot. So please continue.
Absolutely, they've been fantastic. And Mum had to go back to work, and so I'd get down on the sofa in the morning, and she'd
Hmm.
leave me dining chairs to basically hold on to go into the kitchen to get lunch or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
And some of them were stuff I could sit down on and get my balance again.
Hmm.
It's basically I've had to learn how to live again with
Yeah,
this. If that makes sense. It's just
yeah, yeah.
everything's changed, and my husband is so supportive as well.
Great.
He's been fantastic, and my dad. When my husband asked for my hand in marriage, my dad checked with him to say, "Look, with her, migraines, vertigo. Are you happy to deal with this?"
Hmm.
And he was. My friends have always been amazing. My family, my friends, and my husband.
Yeah.
They're just amazing. I couldn't have coped.
Yeah, oh, I know. It's this is such a beast of a condition that yeah,
Yes.
you're right. Okay, hey, so you experienced these symptoms. You were at home. Your parents were helping you. How do you get the diagnosis? Like, do you have to do through a lot of testing, or what happened?
Oh, it's been such a journey, and it's been like head against a brick wall, if I'm honest. Um, so the doctor came out, made me sit on the bed. I thought I was going to fall, and he's like, "Right, it's labyrinthitis."
Hmm.
Okay. I'll see another GP, and benign a BPPV.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think it's because I was doing all the head movements, the exercises to do, and nothing was changing.
Hmm. Hmm.
And for about 2 years, they had no idea. But I was
Yeah.
off balance. I rock from side to side or front and back like I'm on a ship, especially when I'm
Yeah.
tired.
You-
And I've got to sit back, and that doesn't always help.
No, I know, and you're right. It's such a, not only the physical symptoms, but it messes with your mind because you're trying to make sense of why you feel like you're on a boat, like you feel like you're going from side to side,
Yes.
or like you're walking on a trampoline. You feel
Yes.
like the ground kind of like sinks when you step on it, and
Yes.
when you sit, like you said, when you sit back, it almost feels like even though you're not dropping, it feels like you're still dropping back. So
Yes.
so your mind is so confused trying to like make sense of what is happening.
Yes.
So yeah. So what happened next? Sorry.
Just following from that, I'd be in town shopping with my mum. Like, "Mum, the floor's moving." She's like,
Yeah.
"No, it's not." So
Yeah.
I'd have to like, hold on to her. I'm like, "Mum, it's like an earthquake. It's England. We don't really have earthquakes." But like, honestly, it was like the floor was literally. And then
Yeah.
there's a coffee shop, and it's above the town swimming pool,
Mhm.
and the floor does move there when people are walking around. Like, "Mum, is the floor moving?" Yes, yes, that one is. But all the time, it's like I say, your mind's messing with you. It's crazy.
It is. And hey, what about any visual symptoms? Because, for example, for me, like you described, like when you're on a train and you see another passing train, for me that makes me feel like I'm going to, and it makes me really
Yes,
dizzy. Also, you know when people are driving their cars and they park and the car beside them kind of like move, and you feel
yes,
that sensation that you're moving. I feel that a lot, and the visual symptoms, like it's been 2 years for me, hey, and I still can watch TV. Like I try to watch TV, and the movement of the scenes, like it just makes me nauseous, makes me feel weird inside. And
yes.
I can manage being on the phone for a little bit longer now and the computer, but
Mm.
no TV. So how was it for you?
So part of the story, I went to ENT, and I saw
Yeah.
a new consultant. It just been like registered or whatever, and he said, I think you've got vestibular migraines, visual vertigo, and chronic fatigue. And I was like, that all makes sense, because I can be in town and there's like a big group of people by the shops, and you've got people walking and with the reflection on the shops. You're trying to work through the crowd and people are moving in the crowd. It's just too much stimuli, basically. So I've got to follow my husband. My husband's really tall, as you probably saw earlier, but he's really tall, so I just literally hide behind him, head on his back, and he leads.
It's I almost feel like I'm your twin, hey, because like everything you're describing, I keep nodding my head. I'm like, yes, yes, yes. And I know I shouldn't be happy about this because trust me, you know how much this sucks. But but at the same time, I'm like, yes, someone gets me, like someone understands everything, and especially like I completely get that in patterns, like busy patterns,
Yes.
like a curtain with busy patterns or a carpet with busy patterns. No way, like it's just too much to handle. It's
Yes.
and for a lot of people, for me at the beginning, but not so much now, but for a lot of people going to the supermarket,
Oh,
seeing all the aisles and the fluorescent lights and all the food and everything,
yes.
it triggers them more. Like for me, it was bad at the beginning, but not so much. So please continue.
So in regards to that, so I would be, but basically I saw a lot of different GPs, and they'd say
Mhm.
different things, trying different medication. I then went to ENT and I had some physio for VRT, or vestibular
Yeah,
rehabilitation
yeah.
therapy, and that was so hard. I still can't just do some of the exercises. I just can't do them. But others, it
Mhm.
was going into a supermarket, and obviously with the aisles, all the different colours and patterns on the products, that was really hard. And that was one of my exercises, was to go down an aisle, basically hold on to somebody, because I'm like doing that,
Yeah.
and then just kind of progress up. And now I can shop on my own, but it's taken 5-6 years to do that.
Yeah. It takes some time to adjust. Uh,
Yes.
you seem quite young, hey, and from what I've seen, a lot of people, including me, we get this weird chronic condition around the late 20s, mid 20s, late 20s to late 30s. From what I've seen, yes, there's people that get it younger, there's people that get it older, but the most people that I've interviewed is kind of between late 20s and late 30s. So do you feel there is something maybe with our hormones or something that triggers this?
I don't know. I've been thinking for years. I wasn't great in PE at school doing the balance beams. I couldn't do the balance beams. That was difficult. But I was 29 when it started.
Mm-hmm.
I was medically retired at age 32.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to say, God's timing is perfect. I cannot just, it's amazing, because I literally 2 years after being medically retired, I was getting married. So my old life in the town was basically cut off. My new life in a new town. So his timing's perfect, but it's been such a journey. But yes,
Oh, yeah. You did mention that you try some medications. What did you try and what worked and what did?
so I was on Stemetil or Prochlorperazine or something like that. There's a proper title, but it's Stemetil. And when I have a flare up now, I still take them.
Okay.
So that's meant to help with nausea, and it does something to the ear system, compromises stuff, so it helps you get by, basically.
Okay.
So I'm on Stemetil, I'm on sumatriptan, so when I feel a migraine coming, I take a tablet.
Yeah.
I'm on naproxen for painkillers.
Okay.
That works really well, and I've started nortriptyline.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, that's good. So I started that September 19th. I was so anti-medication, but having migraine after migraine like every day, it so wears you down.
You're 1,000% correct. And I was very much like you. For 10 months, I didn't want to take any medication. I said, you know what? I'm gonna get this on my own. I'm gonna get out of it. I'm going to heal. I'm gonna get
Yes.
my body should heal on its own. But the neurologist said to me, he said, listen, Johan, this condition is a chronic condition. So much how like a diabetic needs insulin in order for them to perform up or to live a good quality of life, a person with this kind of condition needs some sort of support in order to allow your body to heal. He said, yes, there are cases of people that don't need medication and it kind of like goes dormant again and they experience it episodically. So it flares up, it disappears, flares up, it disappears. But he said, when for other people, when it's chronic, he said it is better to aid your body with medication in order for you not to be in that constant chronic state 24/7, because he said the longer you remain in the chronic state, the more difficult it will be to make it kind of like settle again. So much like you, I was hesitant and I was like, no medication, I don't trust it. What about the side effects?
Yes.
And I've always been very sensitive to anything. Like I can eat a candy, a piece of candy, and it gives me side effects. Like anything gives me side effects. So I was very like, no, I don't want it. But at that point, hey, I said, you know what? It's been 10 months. I'm willing to try anything, and I mean anything. So yeah, that's how I got into the medication as well. How have you noticed the nortriptyline so far? Like, do you feel different?
So I was on it in September 19, but I had to come off it for personal reasons. I've just started it again.
Okay.
Because 3 weeks ago I was in bed for 5 days with vertigo, and then I came out of that, and it's like, oh, life. There's other parts of the house,
Yeah.
Then I've had migraines every day for about 2 weeks, and it's just like I can't even get hangover stage. It's literally just get over the pain, and it kind of restarts. So I'm back on it, and I've got massive brain fog. I am so tired.
Oh.
But I did find when I first started the tablets, I would have about 2 migraines a week, and I thought I can deal with that.
Yeah, well, it's better than
every day, and the recovery was so much quicker. And it's like I can deal with it. It's not great. I mean, if I was working, I would have to give up. But I'm a housewife now, and my husband is like, you do what you have to do. And for about 6 years, I was doing holistic stuff. So I did cranial osteopathy.
Yeah.
I've got a daith in my ear, so a piercing. I don't know if you can see.
Okay.
So it uses acupuncture.
Okay.
And there's a particular point in your ear that helps the pain. And I have to say, I mean, it's not for everybody. I'm not saying go and get it, but for me, it was amazing.
It's working. Okay.
My head was so much clearer. Before it was really fuzzy and fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
It feels clearer.
Yeah, it's I describe it as having because of the brain fog, the memory loss. I describe it as having a cotton head, because you feel like you have like you're not you. Like it just feels weird inside. Yeah, and it feels and you feel like a weird pressure when the headache happens. It's not like a normal headache. It's almost like you have a band tied across your head. Or I don't know if it happened to you, hey, but for me, my occipitals in the back of my neck, it felt like I was carrying rocks. Like it got so tense and so tight that it was so hard to live like that. Yeah. Hey, now when this started happening to me, they did a lot of research, testing, MRIs, like looking to basically say, okay, you don't have cancer, you don't have MS, you don't have anything like that. But weird enough, I started noticing that I started developing allergies, and I've never had allergies in my life before. And I have 4 dogs right now, so I'm allergic to somehow to everything now: pollen, dogs, everything. So the change of season, like from winter to spring to summer, like I noticed that the symptoms kind of like increase according to my allergies. How about you? Do you also experience anything like that with allergies or with the weather changes?
Really interesting. I'm just going to have a quick drink if that's okay. Sorry.
No, please, no, go ahead.
It's really interesting that you say that, because I have oral allergy syndrome. That basically means that raw fruit and veg or undercooked fruit and veg I react to. And it's basically there's a protein in the food that my body's like, well, what's that? Kill it basically, or react to it. So I basically can't eat fruit and veg now at all.
Wow, really? I've never heard of that before. Like anything, like no any kind of fruit, like nothing.
So I can have passata if it's smooth, so condensed tomatoes.
Uh-huh.
I can do tinned veg, but I can't have it every day.
Wow, wow.
I've found some frozen veg that I can have now and again, but if every day, I'll basically have a reaction, and
Yeah.
it's now to the point that it's anaphylaxis. So I have 2 EpiPens on me and 2 antihistamines on me at all times.
And that has been forever, or that has been kind of like at the same time that this vestibular condition started?
So it's tomato started when I was about 15, and for years it'd be okay. Some foods I'd have a reaction to. I was like, okay, I won't eat those. But kind of from 2015, I had this relapse at work, and I could not get over this relapse, and my allergies really started then, and it's just gone downhill.
Yeah. And it seems like, and I tell people this in a few episodes. I told people that it seems like when these conditions starts, for whatever reason, it's like a domino effect. Like you start to develop other syndromes or other symptoms and conditions that you never had before, or maybe you had before but they were manageable, and this
Yes,
kind of like intensify them. So yeah, you're right.
yes,
But yes, there seems to be a quite of a connection with allergies and this whatever vestibular condition we have. And I noticed that you're right. I noticed that, for example, I used to, well, I still love it, but I don't eat it anymore. I used to love eating watermelons,
uh-huh.
but now if I eat them, I notice that I start to get more dizzy and more dizzy as I'm eating it. So it's like something like this condition triggers something in your body that makes
Yes,
it go like boom, boom,
yes.
boom. Everything starts to stack up. Yeah.
And,
Um,
I have migraine trigger foods as well, so I can't have certain foods because of my allergy, but I can't have nitrates. It's really hard to pinpoint what it was as well.
Yes. And you know what? Hey, I'm very strict with my diet. I'm a little bit I'm exploring a little bit more with foods now, but there was a point because they tell you, oh, you gotta go into an elimination diet to see what triggers you. And it's the hardest thing to do because you've been used to eating basically what you wanted or what you could eat. And now, especially for you with the allergies and now with the migraines, you don't know. For some people, coffee triggers them. For others, coffee doesn't trigger them.
Yes,
For some people, meat triggers them, or cured meats or cheese. For other people,
yes,
it doesn't, or yogurt or things like that. So it's so difficult to eliminate basically everything to
yes,
pinpoint what you have. Like at some point, I felt like I wasn't living. I felt like I was just surviving. I'm basically eating grass and water, and I was so sad because it was like I couldn't eat anything. So
yes.
now I'm exploring a little bit more, but I try to stick to the basically the same foods. I just cook them differently, but basically the same things. But you're so right. So what were some of your migraine triggers?
So it's nitrates, so onions, garlic, spinach, sort of cured meats, sort of like deli meats. Bacon I'm fine with, don't know how and why, but I'm pleased. And spices, so like paprika.
Yes.
I can do ginger and cinnamon. That's it. Of spices, but everything else. But when you're trying to go out for a meal, I've got my oral allergy syndrome, and I can't have garlic bread, I can't have onion, and everything's got something in. It's like,
Yes.
even stuffing for like Christmas. It's like, right, I can't have sage and onion stuffing. I've got to have something else, and it's really, it consumes your life.
It does. It does. You're right. You're right. And not only because of the food, but because of your career. A lot of people. I was fortunate that I was able to take some time off work, and now I have a different job, and it's very is the job that I have right now, although it's very high pace, but I also kind of like manage my own schedule. So basically, I am able to maneuver like around it. Like if having a really bad day, I can work from home. But if I'm feeling good, then I go out and do my job on the road. But yeah, like this, your social life, your family life, your professional life, like everything changes
Yes.
because of this. And what I don't feel good about is the fact that there is not enough awareness about this type of conditions out there. So many people, like I look at you and you look perfectly fine, and people say, oh, you look healthy, you look great, you're smiling, you're giving a good conversation right now, but they don't know that inside of you and me, we're dealing with this gigantic demon that we're trying to like keep it at bay, because symptoms of dizziness, visual vertigo, like you said, the sensations of nausea, the fatigue, the chronic, like you're tired all the time, things like that. So it's we might look fine in the outside, and that's why they call it, I guess, an invisible illness. But people underestimate how strong we truly are fighting with this thing every day. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So hey, how are they, besides the allergy and the vertigo and the vestibular symptoms? Are you able to maneuver them every day? Like, are they more manageable, or do you feel that they still get quite intense?
It all depends what's going on. So if I've had a trigger food, it all goes downhill. That the house can basically stop working, because my husband works from home, but I do all the house stuff, and that basically stops. And it's then picking back up afterwards. I basically have to manage every step I take, because my balance goes. And I have been known, it's quite funny in a way, I have to crawl sometimes to get to places because I can't walk. It's like, I'm just going to crawl. And one day I was crawling and I fell over. So I was like, I can't even get up.
Yeah, that's pretty scary. Like, it's scary. Like, some people don't get it. Like, I had people that tell me, oh yeah, I get dizzy sometimes, and I'm like, no, you don't get it. Like, this kind of dizziness is weird and it's constant, and yeah, it makes you feel like you're falling all the time, or you're spinning, or you're from side to side, like you're swaying.
Yes.
So a lot of people don't get it, and it's, hey, like this, the anxiety level goes poof through the roof, because like you start to wonder, am I ever gonna be okay? How long is this strong dizziness gonna last? Am I gonna ever get my life back? Am I, like, all these thoughts rush in. So for us to deal with that, and on top of that, the anxiety and the dizziness and all the other symptoms, it's so difficult. So that's why I like doing this that we're doing right now together, so people can understand and not judge, because many people judge, like, oh, you don't want to work because you're lazy, or you don't want to do this and I'm like, not at all. I'm like, not at all. Like, if you understood what we have to deal with in an everyday basis, like, they will give us a medal, a gold medal, and be like, you guys are freaking champs, like, in order for us to deal with that. Yeah, so please go ahead.
So for day to day, I've got a grabber, so like I've got it here actually, one of these.
Oh yeah.
So to pick things up, because if I bend down, I then go dizzy.
Yes.
So if I have to bend down, I hold onto my legs and go down to my knees, and then I bend down. It grounds me, basically. But it's such a journey, and you've got to find things that work for you. But at the start, I was having all this going on, fighting for my job, because I lived on my own. I had a mortgage to pay, bills to pay, and on my own. So I had to fight for my job, and I was basically grieving for my old life. And I'm not, who I am now is not who I was 10 years ago.
Same here.
I was so busy. I had insomnia. I still have insomnia, but I was living off 3 hours max a night, and that's if I was lucky. But I was working full time, running a home, seeing friends, going on holidays. I was studying part time as well, so it's really full on. And then, it's great. It's finding your feet again, and that takes time.
Yes, it's a process, like you said, it's a journey, and I do tell people, often, the people that message me and they tell me that they are in the beginning stages, and they are quite scared and they feel alone. I tell them, I said, it's a process, but it does get better. Like, it does get better. Yes, you might need medication. Yes, you might need to modify your life, and we all have. Hey, like, like, you're right. Like, I'm not the same guy I used to be 2 years ago. In some ways, I'm better, I believe, because I appreciate the little things more.
Yes.
I appreciate family. I lost a lot of friends
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, oh, you never can come out anymore. You never want to party. You never want to do this. And I'm like, it's not that I don't want to, it's that I physically can't. So
Yes.
so a lot of people walked away from my life, but I feel you know what? The ones that stay are the ones that truly care. And so life does change, but sometimes for the better. Yeah, you're right. Hey, I wanted to ask you. Um, a lot of people, including me at the beginning, have this symptom that is called derealization or depersonalization. When you, it's almost like when you feel like you're in a dream-like state, like you almost like you feel like you're dreaming. You're like, this is not real. Like I'm not me. Like I don't feel like I'm myself. Do you ever have that?
No.
Oh, God bless. Lucky you, babe.
I feel weird when visually weird when I have an aura coming because with my
Yeah.
my brain auras I have flashing lights or my vision goes. So that's any sort of issue I have with potentially that, but I don't really have that.
Okay.
I was just
Because
fighting.
because a lot of people ask me about that one, and they're like, does it ever go away? And I said it does. It is a normal reaction of the brain
Mm.
in a high state of stress or anxiety or traumatic event or a chronic illness. Your brain kind of like detaches itself from reality, like to protect you, to be like, whoa, this is like,
Mm.
let's be safe from whatever is happening right now. So I tell people it does go away. So I was curious to see if you ever had it. So I'm glad you have it.
Thank you.
That's great. Uh, Hey, something interesting is that in Canada, and this just happened yesterday, they posted an article saying that a lot of people, mostly in the East Coast, are developing this weird neurological syndrome. They don't know the name yet. That they are experiencing vestibular symptoms, dizziness, visual disturbances, visual snow, spots on their vision, and almost like mini hallucinations with their vision, like they see, it's almost like they see patterns that aren't there. Nausea, loss of balance, a lot of things that basically check what I feel, and I'm sure check what you feel.
Yeah.
Uh, and they are trying to investigate it because in this specific town in the East Coast, about 48 people developed it in the last few years. So I was wondering, I'm like, interesting. Could it be vestibular migraines and all those people have it? Or could it be that maybe for all of us, I don't know, maybe an environmental virus or toxicity with heavy metals or maybe our own genetic makeup? Could it be that we all have something in common that triggers these weird symptoms? So I wanted to tell you about it because I'm like, it's interesting that now they are looking into it
Yeah.
to hopefully they come to some sort of answer and they find something that potentially not only help those poor people but could help you and me,
Yes.
maybe like, hey, maybe if this is related to vestibular migraines, maybe there is another way to treat it that will
Yeah.
give like our balance back and that will take the dizziness and all these other symptoms away. So yeah, I wanted to tell you that
Yeah.
they are now looking into it in Canada. Hopefully it goes somewhere. So yeah, I wanted to let you know that maybe there is hope at the end of the tunnel. Yeah.
It'd be lovely because life can suck. It's hard
Yeah.
going. It's really hard going.
Hey, does anybody else in your family have similar symptoms, or are you the first person?
My mum has or had migraines.
Yeah.
Started, I think, about 32, when it was about 32, so similar sort of, age to me, really.
Mhm.
My gran had migraines, and when she got older, when I knew her, she would be dizzy. So I wondered if she had this, basically, without knowing, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I do think it runs in families, and migraines do, definitely, I think.
Yes. Yes. Because likewise, my mom suffered from migraines her whole life. Her mom as well, and I believe her mom's mom as well. But nobody ever had like the constant
No.
dizziness. Like they had it for moments, kind of like episodes, but it
Mm.
was away. But I'm the first one in my family that is like chronic. That is stayed. So yeah, I was curious to see if maybe in your background you had
It's
someone like
just
that.
migraines, but friends have had like ear infections. Like, oh, I understand what it's like. I'm like, you've got an idea, but imagine
Yeah.
all the time and to do movements and having to adapt how you sit, how you walk. It's yes, you've got an idea. And so people say to me, oh, you don't know what it is to be tired. Well, actually, yes, I do.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah.
I had viral meningitis years and years ago, and I had chronic fatigue after that. And I'd walk from the house to the car, which is what, 10 steps max, really, and I'd be fast asleep for about an hour.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, I don't know what tiredness is. Are you sure? You know, you try and balance every step you take. You know, you try and walk basically.
Yeah. People often judge without truly knowing the history behind us. Yeah, people often they just see the superficial thing and they assume, and it's unfortunate because a lot of those assumptions can be hurtful, especially when they come from people that you care for or people that you love, and they see you as, oh, you're exaggerating, or this is all in your head, or this isn't real, and you kind of feel like defeated because you know what, hey, I fought so hard to try and convince many people that this is real and that this condition, and to validate me, to say, hey, okay, you have this, but now I don't. Now I'm like, you know what, like I raise awareness and I educate people, but I'm not begging people for attention or for pity or for understanding anymore. I'm like, you know what, if they want to understand and they want to be a part of my process and help me, great. If they don't, then you know what, God bless them, and they you know what, it's their own prerogative. Yeah. Uh,
Absolutely.
Hey, what about, like, what would you like to say to people that are, they are trapped in this constant loop of like, I'm never gonna get better, I'm never gonna get better, I'm never gonna get better. What would you like to tell them to, in order to, like, to say, hey, like, you know what, like, it does get better.
You find ways to make it work for you, whether it's friends understanding and supporting you, whether it's family supporting you. And I've been very blessed. I've had both. I have some friends that have been amazing. They're weekly taking me out and holding me up. And I pushed one friend nearly into a road in the city centre, and it's like, I'm so sorry, it's not anything personal. I've had some friends helping me out, you know, just to get me downstairs, and they've been amazing. It's finding ways that work. And you know what, it might not get better, you know, back to normal life, but you'll find a different way, a different path. I'm on a different path to what I thought I would be.
Yeah.
But my husband wouldn't kind of cope with me being as active as I was before this. So I wouldn't have found my husband, and I'm so pleased I've got him.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful and blessed to have him. So I'd prefer to be like this and have him than,
Yeah.
you know.
Things do happen for a reason. You're right. You're right. And hey, if people want to find you, they want to learn more about you, they want to reach out to you, where can they do it?
I've got an Instagram account. It's Welcome to Hay's Life, Hay Life, and I've been through a lot, I think, in 8 years, you know, medically retired at age 32, having to use a walking stick, but I call it a balance stick because, you know, it sounds better and it's pink. But but I've done VRT. I'm still doing my VRT. I still can't do the exercises, but I try.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm there, find me on Instagram basically, and I've been through a lot. I can probably help.
Yeah, no, I believe you can, and your page is quite informative. I really enjoy your page. You have quite a lot of it's very kind of like interactive. Like you can, it's easy to understand is what I'm trying to say. Like you don't overwhelm people with a ton of things. That you put things that are relevant. So I think I believe that people could benefit from visiting your page as well.
Thank you so
Hey,
much.
yeah, well, my pleasure. What do you think the future holds for Hay?
I hope God blesses us with a family, I'll be honest. But I've got family to help me with that. But I don't know. I'm just going with what God wants me to do, to be honest. You know, whatever He thinks I need to do, I'll do it. To be honest, with how this is, I can't plan day to day, really. I try to, but things just happen. So I am a planner and an organiser. My family, you know, berate me for that. But no, I just take each day as it comes. I can't do much more.
I agree. I agree. We often, most people think about the future and the what ifs. And I think with these kind of conditions and many other chronic conditions, you kind of have to live day by day. You kind of like just have to pace yourself and take a day as it comes and just deal with it as it comes. Yeah. And rather than living constantly thinking about what about the future? What about the future? So I
Yes.
think you're right. Hey, what would you like to say to those people that still don't believe these conditions are real and are as chronic as they are?
They are definitely chronic. It definitely exists. I'm not making any of this up. I wouldn't want to make any of this up because
Yeah,
my life has changed. I can't work. I've been working since I was 16 years old and I had to stop at 32. I have plans for the future. I'll do this, I'll
yeah,
do that. And that's all gone poof.
yeah,
It does exist. It is chronic and medication doesn't help all the time or doesn't get me back to where I want to be. I've just
yeah.
got to adapt.
And that's a good point that you just made. The medication is trial and error because something that, I mean, you and I are both trying nortriptyline and it might work, great. But for someone else, they try it and it just doesn't work at all. And they maybe they might need to try amitriptyline or they need to try a Topamax or whatever else. Like
Yes.
it's like a trial and error because we're all so unique. Even though our symptoms might be similar, our bodies are so unique that we're going to react differently to anything. So you're right, medication does help, but you have to find the one that does help you, like the one that works
Yes.
for you.
Yes.
Hey, this channel, as you know, is called Find Your Chappiness, so it means find your happiness.
Yes.
How does Hey find her chappiness?
I try to find a piece of joy every day, and at the moment is seeing our plants that we were planting last year come into bloom. It's finding that one positive, just one thing. It's like, oh, it could be anything. It could be going for a walk, when we can, when I'm not, crawling around. We go for a walk, and it's just having that peace and just that quietness and that stillness. It
Yeah,
helps.
and you know what? It does help. It does help because I think we're often so overwhelmed with life as it is,
Yes.
and we're constantly like on our phones or with the TV on or with music on or with like we're so like we're getting so much input from all areas that I think that at times just that stillness, that quietness, even if it's maybe sitting on your backyard and just getting the breeze of the wind for a little bit for a couple of minutes and maybe a little bit of sunlight and maybe like I have pets. Do you have pets?
No, because
No.
of allergies as
Oh, the
well.
allergy. Yeah, you're right. So I have four dogs, and sometimes just maybe sitting with them and giving them a couple pets on their backs, you kind of like
Yes.
okay, like I feel a little bit better now. Like even if it's just for a couple minutes, it kind of like feeds your soul to be like okay, I'm okay for now. Like it's so yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. Oh, and before I we go here, I wanted to ask you a last question. So a lot of people find a lot of coping mechanisms like yoga, reading books, maybe watching funny comedies on TV, doing exercising, doing stretches, gardening, praying as well for a lot of people. I do a lot of breathing therapy. Like I do a lot of breathing that calms me down. Cold showers, massage therapy, acupuncture. Have you tried anything that you feel makes you feel a little bit better?
No, I've tried a lot. It depends if I can read, but at the moment it's just going into bed, but having support for my back because with our sofa I haven't got support for the upper back. So it's having that support where I can feel actually grounded.
Yeah.
Um, so sometimes it's just lying down or just sitting propped up. It's just finding that, but also going out for a walk if you can. Obviously, if balance is great. Don't. That's right. But it's just finding that something, and I'm still finding it. To be honest, for me, it was going shopping, just being out and about. With lockdown, everything was shut, so it's like can't do that. But it's just the small things, really. And before lockdown, I'd go and have brunch with a friend or lunch with a friend or with my mum, and it was something to look forward to. I could plan my week around that. By the day before, I won't do anything. I'll just relax because of
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
The
No,
whole,
you're right.
the whole spoon theory, sort of, energy wise.
Yeah, and energy is quite important. And I don't know if you've heard about a group of people that call themselves spoonies.
Yes.
So the spoonies, they basically say you have a certain amount of spoons or energy that you can use in a day or in a week. So you have to use your spoons wisely. if, like as you say, if it's maybe going for lunch with your mom, that might take 2 or 3 spoons of your energy, and then you might have to rest for a couple of days after that and not really do much. But that's okay because you're using your spoons wisely with things that make you feel happy and that kind of like give you that joy to
Yes.
do. Yeah. So
Yes.
that's yeah.
It's really difficult to plan it all. But for me, and not about you, but for me, I feel like a failure that I couldn't do the housework, go for lunch, come back and do other stuff, be normal. I couldn't do it. I feel like a failure. And it's like, I'm not failing. This is me now.
Yeah, no, I think you're surviving, you're living, and you're gonna get better, hey, because I believe that good people, good things happen to good people. And I don't know you personally, but I've known you for a little on Instagram and from this chat today, and you seem like a lovely person. You seem like you have a good heart. You seem like like you seem to have good intentions for everybody. So I think that good things happen to people like us. And look, you're using some of your spoons today to
Yes.
raise awareness and to teach some people about how these conditions affect our lives, and how maybe they can try to look at it in a more positive way. So yes, you know what? I think good things happen to us, and I think you'll have we'll be blessed. Maybe if we don't heal completely, at least we'll get to a point that we're able to live a good, happy quality of life.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, hey, it's been an absolute pleasure. I hope that in the future we can do a follow up to
Yeah.
see what new things you've tried, what things are working, maybe how the Nortritalin is working out as well. And but in the meantime, you know how to find me, and you have a new friend in Canada here. So yes, if you guys ever wanna make that trip to Canada or anything, let me know, and it's been lovely to see you guys.
You too. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, we'll talk soon. Hey, bye
Yeah.
bye.
Bye.